Good day, good people. Once again, you got the grumpy in your ear. As always, I'm Uncle John, and I have a lot of opinions about some shit. And whether you agree with me or not, I'm always right anyway. So, but it's good to see you, and it's good to be here. And as always, I bring people along with me who may or may not have similar views as I, but if they don't agree with me, they're wrong too. Up there is Cuzzin Amayou. Hi,
Here we
Cuzzin
go.
Amayou.
Happy Thursday.
Yes, happy Thursday. Happy 4th of July Eve.
Juneteenth part 2. That's not we doing that.
Happy Juneteenth the 2nd. Is
There
that
you
better?
go.
Okay. Right there is Uncle Rod. Hi, Uncle Rod.
What up, good people? July 4th is another day with fireworks.
I mean, we get the day off from work, so that's always cool.
Yeah.
And down there is Uncle Percy in the booty chair. Hi, Uncle Percy.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, so much enthusiasm. And as always, every first and third Thursday, there is Uncle Tony. Hi, Uncle Tony.
How you guys doing?
What up, man?
We are magnificent. It's good to have you, sir. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I said thanks.
Well,
always happy to be here.
You know what, Tony? You're the only one that says thank you. And I thank you, sir, just for being you.
I say something to you, John.
No, that's okay. No, thank you.
Thank you for having me too, Uncle John.
I'm sorry, what?
Thank you for having me too, Uncle John.
That don't sound right.
So let's start off. let's start off with Ironheart.
That don't sound right.
No, not at all. Last week we had the first 3 episodes, and this week Disney decided to dump the last 3 episodes in this miniseries. Who wants to go first? Because I know we're all aching.
I have a question first.
What's up?
All right. How much do we get into spoilers?
We spoil shit on this show.
Oh, okay.
But Uncle Tony, I will say this: early on, we talk non-spoiler, but then as we get into the discussion more, we start to spoil shit.
Okay.
Milk is chilling.
I enjoyed the series. I basically watched 4 episodes last night, and I enjoyed everything except for the end.
Uh-oh.
The end of the 4th episode?
No.
The end of the 6th episode.
Okay.
That
so
was
let's get
bullshit.
into it. Let's get into it, Tony. What was wrong with the end of the 6th episode?
Well, I can't tell you what's wrong with the end of the 6th episode because it's like an ultimate spoiler.
Man, we spoil shit on this show. Go ahead.
Okay, wait. Spoiler alert. If you don't want to spoil it.
Anybody who watches this show know we talk a lot of shit.
Yeah, we coming right out the box of spoilers. All right.
I'll let somebody else go first.
Okay, Amayou, come on.
Okay. First 3 episodes off the rip, I was here for it. I was amped up. I had my popcorn and everything. Last 3, I was like, I don't know if it was just me, but like it just it wasn't giving what I needed it to give. Since it's millennial talk. But I actually liked the end. I mean, obviously we know, if you didn't know, you're gonna know now. There has to be another season. There just has to be. And this character that they introduced, I'm not aware of because I'm not the comic book person. I've told y'all that before. I see the movies, okay? I see the movies and the series. I don't do the comic book. So I don't know who this person is, but I heard that Nicole was looking forward to seeing that person. So I'm happy for her for that part.
I'm sad Nicole isn't here because she'd be doing backflips and shit.
It's worse than Thanos.
Oh.
And he doesn't need the glove with the stones.
Okay.
But of course, he's like the devil. Okay, because he's the Satan.
Yeah.
He's
Yes.
Satan. Okay, okay, cool.
It's essentially Mephisto is essentially the embodiment of the devil for the Marvel universe.
You said the name.
Yeah.
Even one Mephisto show up since
Mephisto. How about that?
Since that other show.
Oh my God. Come on, Rod. Your opinions on the last 3 episodes.
All right. Well, first off, I'm gonna say the first 3 episodes. I like Riri Williams. I like the character. I always felt like it was really cool. I thought it was interesting. It was an interesting way to kind of get somebody else into the whole Iron Man circle or the whole armor circle.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I didn't like throughout the series was how hard headed she was. It just was. It was ridiculous how hard headed this young lady was, and would not receive help and would not tell anybody anything. You know, it's like one of those people that want help from you, want all kinds of help from you, wants you to extend yourself. Don't want to tell you all the reasons why they why they need that help from you. And then when you put them in the corner and press them about why they need help, they want to act crazy with you. Like you shouldn't be asking them questions.
So,
Well, doesn't everybody have that in their family?
In response to that,
I don't need a fake one. I got plenty of real ones like that.
in response to that, yeah, you don't want to have to experience that on TV too. In response to that, I was having a conversation with my youngest child today, and because she was loving the series, except for the recurring theme is no one seems to understand, no one seems to like the fact that she's doing dumb shit, point blank. And I think I enjoyed it because this is clearly a manifestation of her trauma and the fact that she has never gotten over the death of her stepfather and best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And she does everything she can to sidestep the real issue. And by doing so, by sidestepping the real issue and by actually trying to find answers where there are no answers, she is digging herself a deeper and deeper hole. One of the in the conversations that we have on Messenger, I put on there that she's reaching Peter Parker level stupidity, and the fact that she does stuff, and there are consequences for her actions.
And that manifests itself in the last episode.
How dare you?
Right. But there comes a point where, as a young black woman who is one of the most intelligent people in the Marvel universe, she can't save herself. And that's what it boils
and
down
wisdom
to.
are two different things.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Intelligence and wisdom are two different things.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And she shows an abundance of one and a lack of the other. So I think that I'm not trying to make excuse. Well, to be honest, I like it because it makes for intriguing television.
But you know what, though? I can agree with you. I can agree with that level of character development. I get it. But at some point, because of who she is and what she experienced previously, the answer will always, the question will always remain, why did you not call Shuri?
They explained that.
Whoa. It's a lot.
No,
it's a lot.
that's a bullshit explanation.
Yeah.
No, they did.
It's a lot of questions that should have been answered.
They did.
How do I explain it? What?
Here she comes. She's gonna love this. She's gonna love this high end.
Sorry, had technical difficulties.
So it's
the damn
my
cats
turn.
behind me.
So
Go ahead, Percy.
Yes, Uncle
Percy.
Okay, hold on. Let me get that out first. Okay. Now,
all right.
All I'm gonna say is that how dare you compare her to fucking Spider-Man? Peter Parker. She is not on Peter Parker's level. Because yes, Peter Parker makes mistakes, but Peter Parker also knows his responsibilities. That's the difference between her and him. Second of all, the first 3 episodes was so goddamn slow. I was concerned that people was gonna turn away because they couldn't get to the main point of the whole damn show.
I did think the same too.
So you have a problem with character development?
Yeah. So here, and I understand why. And Tony, you could probably go into more detail about Ironheart. Is that the way she is in the comic book? She's very weak. She's a very weak person, very intelligent person, but very weak. She was more like a sidekick, or she wasn't trying to be Iron Man, but they was trying to make her Iron Man, but she was just laid back. She's not the character in the TV show. She wasn't rebellious. She wasn't, difficult to get along with. She was using people. She wasn't like that. And I understand how Marvel and Disney decide to flip it to this particular character, but in the same token, the last 3 episodes, I felt like I was watching Secret Invasion when I thought everything was going to be pretty good and was a bullshit ending. The
No, it was
only
better than Secret Invasion.
what's that?
It was better than Secret Invasion.
I
Much better.
I
Much
totally disagree because the only thing what pisses me off is how she fought the hood. Oh, here you go. Oh no, that was that wasn't me. I'm over here behind you. I'm gonna snatch this shit off because I got magic now. I'm snatch the cloak off, and now you gonna and now I'm one. Da-da-da-da-da-da. No, that's bullshit. That's a bunch of bullshit. That nigga almost took her out until she decided, oh, I'm gonna explode. I'm gonna self-destruct my suit for the
She had a
umpteenth time.
contingency plan.
Oh, that's bullshit. It was
So,
it was
so
piss
Percy,
poor.
let,
It was
let,
piss,
let me
it
say
was
let me
piss.
say this.
Hold on,
I'm
hold on.
sorry.
I'm not finished.
Come on, come
It
on.
was the last episode was piss poor writing. They tried to force it down our throats. They could have waited, and they could have went. It could have went so many directions where you could have brought in Doctor Strange. You could talk a little bit more about Doctor Strange. You could have brought in Siri. You could have talked a little bit more about Siri. Doesn't mean she had to make an appearance, but something could have been more. It could have been more engaging these last 2-3 episodes. I just think Marvel and Disney forced this last couple of episodes down our throats, and it was just to me it was just piss poor. It reminds me of Secret Invasion, those last 2 episodes where it was just bullshit and just totally lost it.
Now you're putting everything on Marvel and Disney, and you're saying that Ryan Coogler had nothing to do with it. He was executive producer.
Well,
I'm gonna say it could have been 8 episodes.
That
I feel like they were hampered. Like somebody made a decision to say you're only going to get 6 episodes.
yeah.
And T.O.'s talking about Peter too, about the fact that he didn't stop the guy that killed his uncle.
T.O.,
Like, he wasn't given responsibility.
you feel me, T.O. T.O., you feel me with that.
Thanks, T.O.
But I think that so Percy, I understand where you're going with this, I think, but I disagree with you because I think that as consumers of this type of stuff, we're so used to everything being tied up in a nice, neat bow. And I think that you're mad at the fact that at the end of the day, she went and said, "You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and sell my soul to the devil."
no, I'm not
And
upset with that. I'm not upset with that. I'm not
so what
upset
are
with
you
that
upset with?
part. What I'm upset is how she took the hood. The whole action scene was bullshit. That's the kind of
You
bullshit.
saying the fight scene was
The
bullshit?
fight scene was bullshit. That's the thing I hate about these shows. Yes, I know the hero's supposed to win, but it's got to be done a particular way. We don't see this shit in Daredevil. We don't see this shit in
She
Loki.
didn't win.
We don't see this kind of shit. So it's like I said. I think they force us down our throat. Oh, I'm a hologram. I'm about to kill you. Oh, I'm over here. I'm a hologram. Bullshit. That's bullshit.
So what you're
A
saying is she
really
should
good
use a different
hologram.
method to beat him, or you were looking for her to do something different to beat the
You
hood?
want him to
You
punch him in the face and
use
knock
the
him out.
no. She has magic. I would like to see what kind of magic she can actually do. Since she had magic powers all of a sudden, because first,
When did she learn magic?
Barely.
The armor was powered by magic. She doesn't know magic. Now, if Cree Summer had showed up
whoa,
and
whoa,
started
whoa!
helping her beat
In
the
the
ass,
first,
that would have been great.
in the first fight scene, she started using magic. That's how he was like, "How the hell you do that?" And she's like, "Look what I got." So she was using
So
she was using magic.
so you're saying that the hologram that she projected wasn't used by magic?
It was bullshit.
It was powered by bullshit.
It was a
Okay,
bullshit.
well,
It was a bullshit. It was a bullshit ending. That's all I want to say. It was a bullshit ending on
this
that point.
this kind of goes with one other point I wanted to make. Well, first off, I want to say I enjoyed the series because it sounds like I didn't, but I enjoyed the series.
I did
I
too.
thought it was a lot better, of course, than what people were trying to say before it came out, where they were trying to kill it before it came out. I enjoyed the series. I guess, like I said before, my whole thing about her personality wise, it kind of grated against me is her obstinance. As far as I guess one other thing we always have to be reminded of is the line from Iron Man, where Tony Stark made this in the cave with scraps. Because the shit that she made in a car garage from a car.
From a car.
It's better than anything Hammer Industries could have made, better than anything Stain would have made.
Yeah.
And in a short amount of time, like in a space of 24 to 48 hours.
Right.
She was doing this.
Right.
Running tests, debugging, troubleshooting, all of that stuff.
So what'd you say, Tony?
No, I said she definitely is a genius and a problem solver.
Right. Exactly. So I think, I guess my biggest concern right now, well, not concern, but I think my biggest question right now is like, where do we go? Right. Oh, and I also wanted to say this: Disney sells people's insecurities back to them. You're in bed with the mouse now. Okay, that's actually pretty insightful. Wow. Okay.
Thanks, Mackenzie. Welcome.
But a couple of things, Percy. Number one, at the end of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Shuri and Riri are having a conversation, and Shuri literally says, "If you go back to Boston and do that same shit, I can't bail you out." As a character, I think Riri, and that was 3 years ago. Nobody fucking remembers this. I actually went back and watched Wakanda Forever just because I wanted to. But as a character, I think she internalized that to mean, don't come asking me for help. You know what I'm saying? Just at that point, Riri is like, okay, I'm on my own now. I can't call Shuri to solve any more of my problems. I have to stand on my own. And she's doing dumb shit. What?
John, homework for hire is a little different than a guy using a magical hood and committing robberies and killing people.
We're talking about someone who already has questionable wisdom. We're already talking about somebody who half doesn't listen to what people are telling her, right? So if she's already this headstrong, intelligent scientist, she's not trying to ask for help. She's trying, which is again part of her character flaw. She's not asking for anyone for help. She's going to go ahead and say, okay, I'm going to solve this problem myself. She's trying to solve the problem of her trauma by herself. And that shit gets her deeper and deeper into the hole. Shuri said, I can't help you if you keep doing this homework shit. Okay, so who's to say that she doesn't internalize that to say, okay, Shuri's basically saying she can't help me for all the shit that I get myself into.
Well, that's what she said. She said when she was talking to her dead holographic friend,
Natalie. She has a name.
Oh, I'm sorry, Natalie. Talking to AI Natalie, and Natalie said, "Why don't you just call Siri?" And she went to the whole explanation, like, "Yeah, I'm gonna call. Hey Siri, I'm doing this and this and this, and I'm a thief and da 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 da." And all she said was click. She said click, because Siri was not. She's not going to hear. I understand that part. I'm just saying that ending was bullshit. That's all I'm saying.
Shuri would have done more than just hang up on her.
But that's the stupidity on Riri's part. We know Shuri would have helped her.
Right.
But Riri is so busy out here trying to be Captain Save-A-Ho. Bad title. But she's so busy out here trying to be everybody's everything. She doesn't know how to lean on somebody. And I think people are really missing the psychological issues that Riri has.
I got it, bro.
Part of the story.
As smart as she is, she's not asking for help, and that's fucking her situation up even more, to the point where she wants to make a deal with the devil.
Yep, I understood all of that. I got all of that. I don't know, man. I guess maybe it happened too quickly. I don't know, but or just some things were obvious. Like, this is beyond me. I need help. I mean, painfully obvious.
Yeah.
As far as her ability, based on what she did, she's already better than Stark.
Absolutely.
Because Stark required a whole lot more to create his Mark whatever suit past Mark 1.
Mm-hmm.
Like, her original suit was better than his Mark 1, and she had less money and less equipment,
resources,
and did not have an arc reactor.
Absolutely.
So I mean, maybe that's part of the reason why she's always having glitches or whatever, because she can't get enough power consistently, because she doesn't have an arc reactor. Maybe that's what part of the reasons her suits fail the way they do.
Well, she already said hers is solar powered and wind powered.
Right. And I was gonna say, but she says the stuff is solar powered. So which originally Iron Man's was too. But okay, so if it's solar powered, you get all these, you got all this stuff going on, but your suit is failing like that. But even so, she's still better than him already, which is what she claimed she wanted to be. She always wanted to be better than Stark. I could be better. I could be better. Well, I mean, based on what you made at the time you made it, without the funding and all that, you're better. So what else is there to prove?
That she can do it all. But let's do this. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and Nicole, I'm gonna get you. Let's go ahead and take a break.
What?
And when we come back, Auntie Nicole has heard all of our opinions, and she can debunk every myth and opinion that we've just said and straighten us all out. Because her best friend finally showed up in the fucking MCU.
Go back.
Oh,
So Uncle DJ's not here, so I'll do it. After these messages, we'll be right back.
Football fans, HBCU football is back in the ATL with the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge Kickoff. Representing the MEAC, North Carolina Central, and representing the SWAC, Southern Eagles, Jaguars, the Marching Sound Machine, the Human Jukebox. The kickoff trophy is up for grabs, and bragging rights are on the line. The rivalry is real. Bring the family and join us pre-game for the fun-filled Coca-Cola fan experience, including band jamborees, food, activations, and fellowship. For tickets and information, visit MEACSWACChallenge.com.
Okay, we're back. I'm Uncle John. That's Auntie Nicole, Cuzzin. Oh shit. Well, Auntie Nicole's still there. But now Cuzzin Amayou's over there, and then down below is Uncle Percy, Uncle Tony, and Uncle Rod. Okay, Nicole, let us know.
You're going to be disappointed in me. Can you guys hear me?
What? Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're going to be disappointed. I didn't see that last. I didn't have the opportunity. I put
You didn't watch it at all?
No, because I put two or three 16, like the way my shift works and so on. I couldn't get a chance to because I spent the rest of my time sleeping.
Damn.
So yeah, it was pretty bad.
Well,
but go ahead and spoil it.
You already
We don't.
Well, no, I mean, but I didn't see. So just to confirm, I mean, when you got patience like I do, you let's not go there. But anyway, did our red-eyed friend make an appearance?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
Wait, were his eyes red? I didn't see that.
No.
well,
Oh,
But we know what she means.
Yeah.
I think Cohen did a great job as the character.
I do as well.
Yeah.
I think he did a good job as
agree.
Mephisto.
Yeah. So and they're definitely, now that he's been introduced, I definitely see them using him in different areas, different corners of the MCU, because he's such a rich character to use.
I'd like to know what you thought, since you're kind of like F Mephisto, but
Yeah. So Mephisto. Here's my issue with the character like Mephisto. Okay. First of all, Marvel has been giving us these red herrings for the past 3 years. I'm sick of hearing the character's name. Next, now that he's made his appearance, he has to be used correctly, because Mephisto is Loki level, trying to in terms of behind the scenes.
Tony like higher.
I see you, Tony. But he's Loki level behind the scenes, trying to get things together and just fuck people's dispositions up. It does no good for Marvel to introduce this character who has a rich history and can do real damage, and then not use him for 3 years. That's bullshit. And the fact that it took 3 years from, even though we had the writer's strike and COVID, we get all that, they pushed this series 3 years later and Ryan Coogler has said this is a sequel to Wakanda Forever. And again, I had to rewatch Wakanda Forever just to get the subtle nuances of what they were trying to say in Ironheart to begin with. So don't make me wait 3 years before I see Mephisto again, and don't tease it on some old whack ass TV show. Go Go
The
ahead.
question is
He's
going
the
to be
dad on Agatha, and I honestly thought
right.
they was going to bring him because they used so many of like the little nuances when you read about them with the bugs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I was just waiting for it, and just like that, they never introduced it. They even I was like, okay, they got to be bringing him in because Agatha. Well, think about it. What's her name? Scarlet Witch. Her kids are basically his essence. You know what I'm saying? In the comics, anyway. But
Right.
how in the world do you not at some point introduce it? And that was how many years now? Has it been about 2 years since
WandaVision.
Scarlet Witch? Yeah, and all
Hey.
of that and all, was introduced. So yeah, why do that? Why keep us waiting on that? For instance, I'm still waiting on Young Avengers. They kept on teasing that and nothing.
They're gonna be old Avengers in a minute.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for real.
And I mean, so yeah, I totally get what you're saying, and I really hope he doesn't deserve his own show. So I hope they don't do that. I think Mephisto is more of a supporting character, like he's somebody that you want to see special in a special moment, but not his own show.
Come on, Percy.
I think Mephisto should be the next Doctor Strange movie. That's it.
I like how they tried to throw us a red herring and say it was Dormammu. I thought that was cute.
That's what I was going to make the point
Yeah.
of. It's like Doctor Strange has enough problems with Dormammu. And,
Right.
you know, as Mephisto said, Dormammu can't wipe his ass.
But in the comics, doesn't Zelma work with Doctor Strange?
Yes.
Doesn't Doctor Strange start the Strange Academy?
Yes.
Don't you think all this should kind of tie in together with the
If
Doctor
they want to
Strange?
do Strange Academy,
Yeah,
yes,
if they want to.
absolutely.
Well, that's
And
what
I
I'm
want to do
saying.
Strange Academy.
And then
I
you got,
want them to do Strange Academy.
and then don't forget about what's his name? He's with her now. So is he going to be introduced
Talk about Vision.
no, I'm talking about the Hood. He's with her now.
Hmm.
Is he's going to be introduced to the Sorcerer Supreme, which is now played by
Wong.
Wong. So I'm just saying there's things that could happen. It's just I hope they just put it all together.
There's a lot. Well, what trap that Marvel has fallen into is that before they did this whole restructure thing, they had too much shit going on in too many different directions. And for this to be an interconnected universe, there was just too many directions for stuff to go. And they want everybody to be a part of everything. Whereas you could have your magic side of the universe, you could have your tech side of the universe, you could have your space side of the universe. And, you know, maybe every now and again, but now they've fucking themselves again because you've got Riri tied to Mephisto, who's tied to, who's also tied to Zelma, who's tied to Doctor Strange. And Doctor Strange is going to be dealing with the incursion in his next film. But then we also have Doomsday, which is going to involve every fucking body. And then you've got Secret Wars after that. I want Marvel, even though as much as I enjoy that Marvel has this interconnectivity, I need them to pick a fucking lane and say, okay, this narrative is going to go here and this narrative is going to go here because right now it's all a fucking jumbled mess.
Well,
Yeah.
one of the things and stuff as a kid, even when I was reading the comic books, I was always confused about because we have like, you know, the Marvel universe and there's so many characters, heroes and villains that are based in or around New York.
Yep.
My question, even as a kid, when Galactus shows up to eat the planet, why is only the Fantastic Four there to stop him?
Yeah.
Correct.
I'm like, even Dr. Doom should be showing up because he can't take nothing over if it get eaten. Okay. So
It's a
I kind of
Fantastic Four
like the
comic.
fact and stuff that they're, you know, making things connected and not trying to put everything and stuff in like different areas. You know, even with this Fantastic Four thing, they've already said this is pretty much taking place in another reality, but it's going to end up in the 616 MCU.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard. I love the fact that they all know each other and that they're all working together. But at the end of the day, it gives you huge plot holes. Like Rod, I absolutely agree. Riri, call Shuri and get some fucking help. You know,
Right.
there's so many. Why can't the Falcon call? I'm sorry, Captain America. Why can't Sam Wilson just call Pepper and just say, "Look, Pepper, I need a loan," as opposed to him going to a bank and I'm talking about I'm
Get
referencing
turned
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Right.
How does he go to a bank and get refused for a loan when he knows all of these people? He could go to fucking Thor and say, "Thor, give me a couple
He'll
of
save the world.
from Asgard, and I got you." You know what I'm saying? So it becomes convoluted. It becomes stupid. But at the end of the
I will
day,
say that, and I think we're going to talk about. Well, I hope we talk about Jim Shooter a little bit later. But you know, that's one of the jobs of the editor in chief when you're someplace like Marvel. You know, everybody has their own book. Everybody has their own stuff going on in it. But because everything is interrelated, you have little threads here and there to remind the reader, hey, you know, this is somewhat connected in some kind of way. Or, hey, these people know each other. You know, so if they show up in each other's books, don't be surprised. I think what's going on right now with the MCU films is that instead of just little threads, they're trying to weave like whole blankets of connectivity. And it doesn't need to be that way quite yet. Like you look at Doom and Doomsday, you know, Doom is going to have to deal with Mephisto.
Right.
At some point. Right. Doom is going to have to deal with Kang at some point. It may be off screen or whatever, but he's going to have to deal with Kang. He's going to have to deal with Mephisto and whoever else shows up between now and then. So they got to figure that out and connect all of those dots.
Well, the one difference is that in the comic books, you can draw a character and it's not a big issue. In the movies, you got to fucking see whose schedule is available.
Right.
hey, Letitia, right? Can you make an appearance on this show? So
we'll shoot your parts this time.
And in the budget.
Right, exactly. You know, Doomsday is this huge fucking big thing, just like the first two Avengers films, because all of these characters, all of these actors had to clear their fucking schedules and say, okay, let's get everybody in here and film this and then go away. So I don't know. But it's great that you mentioned comic books, Uncle Rod, because I bet this is a great time for us to transition into Uncle Tony's corner.
I was like, he pops this on me. I would love to keep going with the conversation now. You know, and talking comics, I was going to say, if you want to see Doom and Dormammu go at it, they're going at it right now in the comic books.
See, that's a transition. That's what we call a segue, Uncle Tony. Go ahead.
Fantastic.
All right. What comics do I want to talk about this week? I'm gonna go through this quick because I want to get back to the other conversations. For those of you old school, you remember this homage cover?
I do.
Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past. Well, of course, this is Chris Claremont's Days of Future Past, and what we've got here is issue 104.5. So this is the prequel and the entirety of Days of Future Past in a new book for those that haven't read it. So they actually did a prequel to lead into the regular story. And it's very well written and the artwork is awesome.
Who's the artist on that?
I know. I never pay attention to the artist unless it's horrible.
I only know their name if they suck.
Like way back. Yeah. It's got a good guy. He's good.
Okay.
He's doing X-Men for quite a while. All right. For you Star Trek fans, we've got a new Star Trek Omega #1. You get to watch all these cool characters together in one story. Now, I wish we could actually get the budget and stuff together and get Avery Brooks to come back and continue the story of Cisco. But unfortunately, we're stuck having to do it in the comic books.
One timeline, huh?
All right, let's see here. All right, they came out. If you like good writing, like I said, I like writing. I pay more attention to who's writing the book than who's actually drawing it. Chip Zdarsky is doing the new Captain America #1.
Yeah, that just came out.
So I definitely think the people should give this a chance.
So who wrote this?
Good writer.
Chip Zdarsky.
Yes, he's awesome.
Yeah, he's pretty good writer, man. I like his stuff. Is that
All
an
right.
Alex Ross cover?
Hmm?
Is that an Alex Ross cover?
Oh no, this isn't Alex Ross.
He doesn't know. He doesn't pay attention to the art.
Well, Alex Ross is a completely different subject. Everybody knows Alex Ross.
Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Now, okay, Alex Ross. Okay.
All right, and then we've also got a new number 1, X-Men Hellfire Club Vigil number 1.
See, this is where they begin to lose me.
Why is that?
Too many X titles. That was the problem. They run into that problem every few years. Like they'll go away and come back, and then there's too many titles. People can't follow everything, and they have to make decisions on who or what they want to follow. And then they're always referring, because we just talked about connectivity, they're always referring to things that happen in other books. Some people don't like that. They're like, now you're making me buy this other shit because I don't know what's going on. So that upsets folks. It makes people like Tony makes their lives great because they come in and having to get all those books.
No, remember who the first person that has to buy all those books. I'm
Yeah,
the one that has to buy all those books.
you got to get them first. Correct.
Yeah, I got to spend the money on them first and hope that people come in and buy them and sell, and
Right.
they don't just sit on the shelf. Then I got to get all the variant covers because people who come in just for the variant covers. So yeah, I feel the pain. But again, I like to point out there wouldn't be so many Batman titles or X-Men titles or Spider-Man titles if y'all would read something else.
Don't say y'all.
They'll sit there and they'll introduce new characters, and then nobody picking up the new character books.
Right.
Everybody wants to go with what they know. And it's like we got some people that are X-Men fans, and of course, Cisco.
I'm not a Trekkie, but I agree with that.
I do
Okay,
too.
People need to read the new stuff.
Other shit.
They're giving you what you pay for. It's all the bookkeepers. They're looking at what books you're buying. And if you would pick up something that was different, then it wouldn't keep coming out with the same things.
So having said that,
again, I'm going to use this opportunity to promote the Empire storyline because it is awesome. I can't wait for the second issue.
So having said that, Tony, has there been any kind of uptick with anything to do with Ironheart?
No. I've got Ironheart number 1 just sitting over there on the shelf.
Yeah.
Nobody's come in asking me anything about any Ironheart, any way, shape, or form.
She's terrible in the comics. That's why she's terrible in the comics. That's why I understand why they went in this direction, make it a little hard, a little difficult to be with. Because in the comics, she
doesn't stand
there.
out.
Yeah, she's just there.
She does not distinguish herself she had her own book, and then she was also part of a group. So I don't,
the
I
new
don't
champions.
know. Yeah.
But like I said,
don't know what
hopefully
to
and
do
stuff, we'll see a lot more of her in character development when we get around to the Young Avengers storyline. And apparently, like I said, they left her basically as a cliffhanger. So, we know we're going to get more Riri Williams. They can't leave it hanging the way it was. And remember, too, I wanted to point out that, like I said, because of the strike and everything, this series was supposed to come out years ago and got delayed. So it was supposed to actually come out after the Wakanda movie.
Right.
It was, but Marvel still pushed it back. So with the whole shakeup with Marvel Television, because the way they were making these TV series was ass to begin with, they now have themselves with an abundance of ideas. Like they had this, like you said, Tony, they had this in the can for years, but they pushed it back. They even pushed this back, and then they dumped it. Like, you know what? Like they had no faith in it. And if nothing else, you should give Ryan Coogler the benefit of the doubt because he has built this. He's got his own little black corner of the MCU where he's got Wakanda. And speaking of which, also there's another series coming out called Eyes of Wakanda.
Yep.
I think that comes out next month. Mm-hmm. That he also is working on. So they've given him Wakanda and a couple of little black characters. Okay. So trust him to give you some quality content because he's doing, and but Marvel at this point is just kind of like, you know what? Yeah, let's just throw this out there. We finished it. Fuck it.
And that's really what it almost seemed like. It's like, well, we've already invested the money in it, and it's done. Let's just throw it out there. Like, what other series would they have put one half on one week and the other half on the next week?
Exactly.
Well, they probably saw the numbers from Sinners and said, "Well, shit, we better put this out here now so we can make some money off this."
Jump on it.
I think the idea and stuff of splitting it though is to make sure, because think about it. If they had released them all at once, a lot of people would have watched everything all at once.
Yeah.
This way they at least get a little bump on this week and then another bump, a later week.
Yeah.
And just be honest about this stuff too. It's like, they're a company about making money. And, they're looking at the political climate. And they saw the hate that she was getting when no one knew what it was about.
And it's amazing
to them and stuff. The whole idea of like getting out there and spending millions of dollars on promotions, they could have saw that as just throwing good money after bad.
There was another actor on another Marvel show who literally said when that actor's show was out, they promoted it and promoted it and promoted it with Ironheart and with Eyes of Wakanda. It was pretty much we've got these two little black shows coming out.
It was Daredevil. They were talking about Daredevil.
Yes. And Daredevil has been promoted to the hilt. But there's another show that you've invested money in that is solid. Two other shows that you've invested in that one of your money-making filmmakers is producing. But you're not promoting it. You're just kind of like, here, take these little nigga shows and we'll see how it goes. Marvel is.
We knew Born Again was coming out a year and a half ago. They were talking about filming a year and a half ago.
Yes.
So we knew that was coming. We found out about Ironheart like 4 months ago, 5 months ago.
On this show, we've been begging for a fucking Ironheart trailer. And then just so happens, oh, by the way, with the Ironheart series, now they're going to throw in the trailer for Eyes of Wakanda too, which is
right.
Totally
T.O. said they for tax reasons they created a Batgirl movie and never released it.
Yeah,
they said they thought it was bad. Quite honestly, that Batgirl movie. So they figured they didn't want to throw bad money afterwards.
I'm mad.
It could have been worse than Blue Beetle.
Can't be bad as Catwoman. Shit.
Very true.
I enjoy Blue Beetle, but I could be biased because I actually know the actor. So
I like Blue Beetle, but
Are we just gonna blow past the lead? The lead actor of Blue Beetle. How to say his name? Because I can't pronounce it.
Zola.
Okay, so you know him as personally.
You guys haven't checked my Facebook? They filmed Cobra Kai in my store. I got to hang out with him. I sold him D&D books. We taught him how to play Magic the Gathering.
So basically, Tony is saying, fuck you for not checking on my social media because I know famous people. Okay. It'd be nice if we had him on the show one day, but
Can you get hold of Aaron Pierre for me? I'll fight Tiana. I'll fight her.
So anyway, let's do this. We've got one more
manicure right.
We got one more commercial break, and then when we come back, we are definitely going to finish talking about Ironheart, and we have to talk about a comic legend that passed away this past week. So after these messages, we'll be right back.
I'm returning to Clinton, Paris, and Tampa's my community. I grew up here, went to school here, and my wife and I make our home here. What makes Tampa special are its people. So when I represent someone injured in my community, it's personal. Call my office and speak to a real lawyer and not some referral service. I will fight the insurance companies to get the settlement that you deserve. At the law office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being heard.
And we're back. Boy, Mel, don't fuck around with those commercials no more. It's one commercial. We
One and
come
done.
right back. So, Rod, if you don't mind, speaking on Jim Shooter, who a giant in the comics industry who passed away recently, can you kind of go into detail about him?
Well, my first encounter with Jim Shooter's actual like face-to-face encounter was at a Dragon Con panel. I think now it's maybe been about 4 years ago, where he discussed his time as the editor-in-chief at Marvel. And one of the things that impressed me about him was that he got that job. He got into comics really early. Like he started working at Marvel in his teens.
14.
He was 13 years old.
Yeah.
14.
Yeah. And he became editor-in-chief, I think he was around 28, something like that. So, to be in charge of something that large at that age, like I couldn't imagine myself being 28 years old and being editor-in-chief at Marvel. Like so much shit would have been bad if I was editor-in-chief at that point. But creatively would have been fine. But like administratively, we would have been a mess. But just that alone to me says a lot about his talent. And what I also noticed with him is as much as many people who respect him and see his talent, those same people disliked him intensely and would curse him out.
Yes.
So that's one thing I noticed. If somebody's that talented, it's often they're misunderstood, or they just as many people like you as many people hate you. And I think a lot of that came about. I can think of two reasons right off the bat with Jim Shooter. One of them being the whole Jean Grey Phoenix thing, and the other one being Secret Wars, their first original Secret Wars. Like a lot of people were upset about a few things in that. But like I said, meeting him, he was a really cool guy, nice guy, very knowledgeable, and undeniable talent. And I'm sorry to see him pass.
Yeah, Tony, you got anything on that?
Oh no, like I said,
I'm sorry. Should we have been looking at your social media so we could see that y'all used to play pool?
Play pickleball on Saturday.
If you brought it up, I am going to mention the stuff that I've had, like, a couple of sit downs with Marvel editor-in-chiefs. I've hung out and met with Archie Goodwin, okay, and Jim Shooter, and Joe Quesada. Matter of fact, Joe Quesada was the one who actually taught me how to do portfolio reviews at Heroes Con. But getting back to it, a lot of people didn't like him because it was his way. He wanted stories told a certain way. One of the things and stuff that they talk about a lot and stuff, he, like I said, he got into the industry, back when he was 14. All right. And he was reading Marvel and DC books. And even as a kid, he was like, why can't DC tell these intricate stories that go through many issues and it's good storytelling instead of all these offshoots or one-shots?
One and dones, yeah.
Right. That DC would do. And I could actually understand that because it like really, messed with me as a kid that, something would happen in the DC comic and then the next issue is like it didn't happen. So that's one of the things and stuff that he brought to DC when he was at DC, when he was working on Legion of Superheroes. And he actually created a few of the characters that are in Legion of Superheroes. So he was a great creative talent. And like
was
I said,
he responsible for the Fatal Five?
Yes. Fatal Five was one of his characters, one of his teams. But, it was one of those situations and stuff that he was basically a hard ass when it came and stuff to how he ran Marvel. But his success is evident. So like I said, definitely he's somebody and stuff, that I miss. And I love when he started Valiant Comics and had that going good until he basically got screwed over by a business partner. They sold the company out from under him.
Damn. I mean, you have to be someone who's not only talented but also driven to have been the head of both Marvel and DC. And the fact that you had to make sure that these books came out at a certain quality on time, and that's your name that's associated with all of these.
Yep.
And to go ahead to jump from the big two to starting your own comic company. Now that's a feat in and of itself. Like you said, he started at 14 years old. So if I'm correct with the story, and I know Tony will correct me if I'm not, he wrote a story and sent, back in the days when we sent mailed shit. He wrote a story and mailed it, and the editor or whoever saw it at the time was like, "Yeah, let's hire this guy," not knowing how old he was. That's how he created a story at the age of 14 that impressed the grown folk behind these characters. Right. So the talent was there. That doesn't excuse him being an asshole, but sometimes you gotta do some stuff. You ain't gonna make an omelet unless you break the egg.
When you're the boss, sometimes you gotta be the a-hole.
Yeah.
I mean,
trust me, even when I do the expo, I actually have people on my staff coming to me saying that I'm too nice of a guy. So, sometimes you've got to be that guy.
You are, Tony.
Get stuff done.
You are too
unfortunate,
nice,
but true.
Yeah. So, I mean, he a giant in the industry. His influence has definitely been felt across all platforms. And rest in peace, Jim Shooter, and condolences to his family and friends. So, as we wrap up our discussion, I didn't intend for Ironheart to take up the whole damn show, but she did. I have to say also,
longer.
Yeah, I have to say also, and Percy, I want to get your, and I wish DJ was here too. I love the fact that it was in Chicago, and it was a very Chicago type of show. They had one whole damn episode in White Castle.
Yep, but the White Castle wasn't in Chicago; it was built in Atlanta.
Oh, they built it in Atlanta, and then
parts of filmed in Atlanta.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why you see that made in Georgia at the end of every episode.
Yeah, well, I mean, they did shoot. So, I mean, there's some Chicago in that motherfucker.
There's some Chicago in it, but that White Castle was actually built on set in Georgia.
Yeah. So, but White Castle is, because ain't no White Castles down here, because I miss it, and that gas.
Yeah, y'all got to deal with Crystal.
What's the difference between a White Castle
It
burger
was in
and
New York City.
burger?
How dare you?
How
dare you?
Oh my God!
White Castle is big in New York.
Gas, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
You said what?
More gas up north?
Yeah, more gas up north.
Okay.
White Castle is huge up north in New York, just like Nikki said. I remember White Castle trips when I was a little kid.
You get
That's
that
all we did.
Yeah.
Get like 50 burgers with a bunch of people. Got like 5 people in the car, and everybody's got like five.
Man, you could go to a White Castle after the club, $5. You got a meal, Jack.
Yep.
So,
It was full.
Yeah, I understand. But we're close to that time, and we're not trying to hear that whack ass music that Mel plays. So
the race to the end.
race to the finish line. Cuzzin Amayou, what you got for us today?
Okay, I got a couple things.
It does some goddamn Love Island shit, I'm sure.
Okay, first of all, I'm about to watch the last episode, the most recent episode of Love Island. But someone just told me about a movie that's coming out this week, or it came out probably today, called 40 Acres. Had y'all even heard anything about that?
I saw a trailer for it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna make sure I see that sometime before our next show, so I can give my little 2 cents on it. It's got what's her name, Danielle Deadweiler starring in it, and some other people.
What platform is it on?
It's at the movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see it at the AMC.
Congratulations.
That's all.
Uncle Tony, you got anything for us?
No, not a thing.
Hey Tony, did the second issue of Imperial come out?
Come by the store, pick up.
No, it's coming out on like the 16th.
Okay.
And Uncle Tony, weren't you on another?
Did you read it? Did you like it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Weren't you on another podcast this week? Last week? This past week?
Oh yeah, I was on another podcast about what is it? OGs of anime. But I was on the show with a whole bunch of 30-year-olds, so No.
40-year-old.
And they were talking about OGs and anime.
Watching Astro Boy on a black and white TV, you know. And I mentioned like, the Star Trek animated series, and they were like, we didn't know there was a Star Trek animated series. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. Okay.
How about did they watch Lensman or Battle Angel
Lita?
Bubblegum Crisis?
That's why you need to stay your old ass over here with us.
Megazone 23.
And besides being on the podcast this week, for those of you here in Atlanta, I was actually interviewed by Fox News, WSB, and CBS. And the links are on my social media, Facebook and Instagram.
Well, damn. Now, when I ask you what you got for us, that's what you say. You were like, no, I ain't got nothing. Damn, yeah, that's 3 things off the rip. Anyway. Auntie Nicole, what you got?
Well, guess what? If you're a fan of RoboCop, they got a new game coming out this month. RoboCop Rogue City. So, sorry, I'm a big fan. So that's there you have that. And Sinners will be out on streaming this weekend. So enjoy yourself while behaving yourself.
Can't wait.
HBO Max, right?
Indeed.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what you meant by enjoy yourself, but that's
enjoy
fine.
yourself while behaving
Watch the
yourself.
movie.
Well, so, Auntie Nicole, can we get a review of the RoboCop game next week?
Not really, because it hasn't come out yet. But I've got to find the trailer. It's coming out like mid-month, I think around the 17th or so.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Uncle Rob, what you got for us?
2 things real quick. Maybe 3. New game come out called Mecha Break. It's on Xbox right now. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a PC version. You fly around in a mech and you shoot at things. And your mech transforms. What else do you need? And it's set in the future. Get it, play it. It's awesome. Check me out on my socials. I'm on TikTok. Is that_Rod_G on TikTok. Check me out on that. And AEW All In is coming. Few days. So for those who are pro wrestling fans, and I know there's a few of y'all out there, check it out. Oh, as well as WWE Evolution, where it's going to be an all women's card. It's an all women's pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
What's the name of that game again?
Mecha Break. MECHA Break.
Break. Okay, cool. Uncle Percy, what you got?
Well, just want to say Sinners on my stick already. I've been watching it on my stick for the past 2 weeks. So just want to let you know it's on my stick.
Pause.
why does that sound naughty? But anyway.
Hey, cousin, it is. Because at least once an episode, we're going to hear about Uncle Percy's stick. So, thank you for that. Yeah, well, look at that. Right in under the gun, and we didn't hear that whack-ass music. That's all right.
We won this round.
Yeah, so Uncle DJay, hopefully you and your headache are feeling better next week, and you can join us because, ain't too many more headaches coming, but we going to get it from somebody else. So, for Cuzzin Amayou, Uncle Tony, Auntie Nicole, Uncle Rod, Uncle Percy, and the missing Uncle DJay, and super producer Mel, this is Grumpy Old Nerds. We're here every Thursday, kind of, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to give us the opinions you should have on these particular subjects. And if you don't agree with us, well, fuck you. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week. Night-night.